fish. I was 14 feet deep on an orange trolling fly. 1.8 miles an hour. Feels good. We'll see. They all feel good. There we go. It's 50 feet away. I'm into that top shot. Running a 50-foot, 20-pound test top shot down to a 8-pound test fluorocarbon leader on this lead core rig. A standard hybrid rig for, you know, shallow to medium depth fishing with that 50-foot top shot. Oh yeah. Right there. Whew. Oh man. What an incredible fish. Just another beautiful Lake Davis rainbow. Look at that beautiful rainbow. That's what trolling flies can do, man. I've been getting some short strikes. They're a little tentative, but been working this stretch here where the fish are feeding. I can see them feeding on bugs, and it paid off, man. That guy is going to look incredible in the smoker. What a beautiful fish. Just absolutely. Look at that fish. Look at that monstrous fish. Number 8 hook, guys. That's about a 6-pound rainbow. Yes, in the net, right there. There you go.
Wow! Holy crap!
All right. Do you want to experience maximum success when it comes to trout trolling? If you do, integrate trolling flies into your arsenal. Go on over to fishhuntshoot.com and pick up one of Kel Kellogg's signature series trolling fly kits today, and you'll be yelling "Fish on" tomorrow. Howdy guys, I got a viewer question today from a smart young man named Trevor, 17 years old, lives down in Burlingame, California. Now, how do I know Trevor's smart? Well, Trevor sold, he saw me on the channel here out of my Hobie Pro Angler 14. He decided he wants to do that. He's a bank fisherman, or he was a bank fisherman. He's not anymore. He sold his dirt bike and he went out and bought himself a brand new camouflaged Hobie Pro Angler 12. He's got the latest version. He's got the 360 drive. He's got a phenomenal fishing platform. He wants to take it out in San Francisco Bay. He wants to hit some of the urban lakes. He wants to go into the foothills. He wants to chase trout. He wants to go to the mountains. He's got a lot of plans, but primarily he's interested in trout fishing, trout trolling, and he asked me, what are my favorite big trout lures? And that's kind of a loaded question, Trevor, and I'll tell you why. A better question is, what are your favorite big trout lures going to be? And I'll tell you how I arrive at my favorite big trout lures. First of all, as I always say here on the channel, confidence means everything. It just means a lot, okay? The other thing I always try to do is I try to assess the temperament of the trout, and I also like to know some background on the lake. What do they feed on in the lake, you know, naturally? If there's big clouds of threadfin shad, small trout, medium-sized trout, large trout, they're all feeding on those shad. If it's a lake that has, you know, a lot of bugs and crawfish, small, medium, large trout, they're feeding on crawfish. Now, a big trout may hit a big rapala, that's true, but I am more of a match the hatch kind of guy. So, now, most of my big fish that I put my clients on this fall, most of my big fish this fall came on threaded worms, but we were fishing in very tough conditions. We were fishing for fish that were highly pressured and fish that, for whatever reason, they did not want to chase. They didn't want to chase spoons. They didn't want to chase plugs. We got some fish on plugs and spoons and stuff like that, but by and large, day in, day out, we were getting the most strikes on a threaded worm behind a small willow leaf blade at about 1.8 miles an hour. So You know, so I'd have to say, and you know, recently my best big fish bait has been a threaded worm behind a small blade. Now, looking back over the last 3 or 4 years and thinking about all the big fish I've landed, me and my fishing partners, I kind of came to these conclusions. The threaded worms in there, the fly, the trolling fly, flies just like that. That is a great shad and smelt imitation. When you get it in the water, it sucks down. It takes on that minnowy shape. It's a great presentation. It catches medium-sized fish, but it also catches big fish, and it's something the fish don't see a whole lot of. I pair them with the wiggle disc, run them on 8-pound test fluorocarbon leader, and I have a tremendous amount of confidence when I've got a fly on the end of my line. Sometimes I run bright colored flies, they work great. More often than not though, I'm trying to match bait fish with the flies at the lakes that I fish. And you know, if the bait fish imitations aren't working, very often I'll go to an orange fly. We had a fish upwards of 7 pounds at Collins on an orange fly this December. So, but flies, great confidence bait for me. I've caught wild rainbows on these up to about 7 pounds at Lake Elminor. Caught a lot of 3 and 4 pound fish on these flies, and we've caught planters, like I say, right up to about 7 pounds. So for me, so far, threaded worms, flies, this spoon right here, and this is kind of a shocker. This goes against the big fish, big bait theory. A silver trigger spoon junior. I've caught fish up to about 4.5 pounds on this at Lake Elminor. My wife got her personal best rainbow on this lure right here, I think it was a 5.5 pound rainbow up at Elminor. Now, but you gotta think about it. That is a pond smelt lake. They're small little minnows. Showed them that small little silver spoon. Big trout feed on pond smelt up there. Small trout feed on pond smelt up there. There are some trophy specialists up there at Elminor that they like to pull, you know, I'd like to pull the big rapalas, big stick baits and stuff. But my 2 biggest fish out of that lake, one came on the Trigger Spoon Junior in silver. The other one came on a trolling fly, just like that. Match the hatch, catch the fish. Put it in the strike zone of a medium-sized fish, you're gonna catch a medium-sized fish. Put it in the strike zone of a big fish that's looking to feed, you're gonna catch that big fish. That's the bottom line. Match the hatch, catch the fish. And my final bait that I've been doing really well on the last couple years is the speed spoon. Had fish on this lure up to 7 pounds this fall. It's a consistent producer of big trout. It has a lot to do with the spoon, but it also has a lot to do with the presentation. It's a spoon that you want to be trolling fast, 3 miles an hour. In a power boat, up to 4 miles an hour. In your kayak, 2.7 to 3 miles an hour. Work the structure. It creates reaction strikes. It looks like a minnow zipping through the water trying to get away. It looks like a panicked bait fish, and it just triggers those fish to go. If they're inclined to chase, if they're actively feeding, it's basically the same presentation as a rapala. You zip it through the strike zone fast, they gotta commit or let it go. They see a bait fish. If they're in that mood to pounce, they're just like a cat chasing a yarn, man. They jump all over it. So there you go, Trevor. Those are my 4 presentations. Threaded worms, flies, trigger spoon juniors, and of course, my beloved speed spoon. Now, your job is don't overthink this too much. Get a few basic presentations, start hitting productive lakes, pay attention to everything that happens on the water. Try to think like a fish. Look at all the clues. Zero those fish in. Figure out what they're doing. What level are they at? What's the water temperature? What's the water clarity? What do they feed on day in, day out? Put all those factors, in your mind and come up with a strategy. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Work your strategies. Fish systematically, and you're going to start to figure out what your big fish baits are. Your big fish bait might be a mag lip. It might be a plastic grub. It might be a gulp minnow. Whatever it is, hash out some basic approaches and then get out on the water and let the fish do the rest. Always let the fish guide what you're doing. Don't try to make the fish hit what you want them to hit. give the fish what they want to feed on, and you're going to be way ahead of the game. Anyway, I'm super pumped that you're in a kayak, Trevor. I hope to see you out on the water. Maybe we'll hook up one of these days and go out on a kayak fishing trip. I just love getting young folks involved in the outdoor sports, and if I can get a guy off a dirt bike and put him in a kayak, I'm a happy camper. Anyway, I'm signing off for now. I'm gonna get on my way. If you guys are looking for fishing gear, go on over to fishhuntshoot.com. You can see my full line of trolling flies and speed spoons, lead core rods, and more. I want to thank everybody for all the support. I want to thank Trevor for taking the time to reach out and ask me a question that I could answer here on the channel. You guys stay safe, healthy, happy, and I will catch you next time right here on YouTube. I'm Kel Kellogg, and you have a great day.